Look, in all reality, what's the point of this Bring Back Boris campaign? Because it's going nowhere, is it?
Actually, I think it's been massively successful. I mean, don't forget that the day he resigned, we were left with this idea that the game was up. There was nothing else we could do. Literally within a week after I wrote an article in the National Review in the US, a few people gathered around and said, well, what can we do? So we started this petition. Now we are way beyond in terms of the signatories we needed in order to get some kind of change or Boris back on the ballot. But actually what's happened is that today Conservative Central Office essentially admitted that we're way beyond the numbers required. It's just that the momentum is there. They don't want to take it seriously. They think that the race has already been is already concluded. So there's no reason to bring Boris back.
Well, so talk to me about how practically it would work to bring Boris back then.
Well, there's a couple of things. The first thing is the Conservative Constitution says that if 10,000 Conservative Party members sign a petition and demand some kind of change within the Constitution, then that happens. If you think about the amount of support that requires, it's quite staggering. Nobody would have signed a petition to rescue Theresa May. Nobody would have done the same thing for David Cameron, and certainly nobody would have done that for Michael Howard or William Hague in the past. The sheer momentum that's from the first moment to from 6 weeks ago to now, it's been an amazing journey. We've got, I think, something like 25 to 30,000 Conservative members who've signed this petition. The Conservative Party knows that we are in the right, but they are using all sorts of delaying tactics. They don't want to bring Boris back because they've already thrown the dice. They don't want to have a challenge to what they've started. And this is a bit like you said in the opening speech. They've gambled. And now they realize within a few weeks that the polls they thought were valid in June and in July are completely irrelevant now. You've said it perfectly. It's not just the membership that is massively supportive of Boris Johnson. It's also the Conservative electorate.
OK, all right, fair enough. Do you think either Liz Truss or Rishi Sunak can actually see to Keir Starmer? Because as far as I can see, he may well be about to become the first Prime Minister in this country elected on a ticket of doing absolutely naff all.
Well, I think the big difference between Keir Starmer and Boris was personality. There was a lot on the policy side that I would have disagreed with Boris on. The difference between Keir Starmer and Boris, if it's on the personality stake, you know who's going to win. With Sunak and with Truss, you're not so sure because they look like professional politicians. And if there's something that really turns people off their dinners, it's a professional politician who sounds like a professional politician. That picture that you showed of Liz Truss being taught to smile on camera, talking about pork in Beijing, makes me feel that we've got May Mark II coming over, and she was the worst prime minister we had since Gordon Brown. Yeah,
I suppose there's a joke in there somewhere, though, because if she is a Maybot Mark II, you could turn her off at the back, whereas Boris Johnson was apparently turned on a little bit too much during his tenure. But look, on a serious note, bringing Boris back, does that not just mean being embroiled again in scandal? I mean, he had the chance to behave like a Conservative, and he didn't behave like a Conservative when he was in power.
Well, yeah, that's true in many ways. But I think one of the things that he did, and people forget, but I think one of the truly great things that he did was that he launched the Commission on Racial Diversity in Britain, which I think was a frontal attack on the Hitlerian view that really prevails in the Labour and Lib Dem parties. This idea that we are defined by our race, that we're defined by our sexuality, that we're defined by caste. With Kemi Badenoch, I think that she did. There was something really, really interesting in that. It was an attack on, or at least a counterstroke against Black Lives Matter at the time. So I think that that's a really, really interesting thing that he did, and it's going to be a very interesting legacy in the future, in my view.